Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday, happy weekend. Hope everybody is doing well. 24 hours after the full moon in Leo. And I've decided it was a tight pick because I couldn't make my decision, but at the end I decided that I'm going to record my astrological forecast first because moon's still in the sign of Leo, and technically everything I'm going to be talking about is a continuation of the energy of this full moon in Leo, because we have most of the aspects that were taking place during the full moon in Leo becoming exact over this weekend. And then next week will be very, very quiet. We have very few things taking place, which of course will be it will be the after effects of the full moon in Leo, and then it will start preparing us for the new moon in Aquarius, which will be the next lunation after this one. So like I said, I was really contemplating what to do first, but it just makes sense to me to record this one first because, as I mentioned, technically everything that's going to be taking place over the weekend and throughout next week is still an after effect of this full moon in Leo. And why do we keep talking about this full moon in Leo so much? Because we are in the year 8, and year 8 is strength, and strength represents Leo. And it is all about creative self-actualization and stepping into your purpose and destiny this year. That's what it's all about, and it's happening through us taking responsibility, which is the Capricorn. This year is literally the year of Capricorn, the year of Saturn, and the energy associated with your purpose and stepping into your authentic purpose. Anyway, it's 11:11, just as I said this, so let's just crack on. So today, as I'm recording this, it's Friday. So today we have some of the aspects that took place yesterday, obviously not exact, but they were present during the full moon in Leo. Some of them are starting to become exact today, and that is Mercury square to Chiron becoming exact today. Ceres is squaring Neptune, but Ceres is asteroid, so I'm not gonna go into that. Tomorrow, Saturday the 27th, Sun will make its exact square to Jupiter. As we know, Jupiter was squaring the full moon in Leo, so playing very important role, and that was the same during the new moon in Leo as well. So we know it's all about our belief system over here. Tomorrow, Saturday 27th, also Uranus will be stationing direct. The last planet that is still retrograde tomorrow will station direct. So as of tomorrow, we'll have all the planets in a direct motion, and that is happening on 19 degrees 5 minutes of Taurus. And then on the same day we have Mercury conjunct Mars. So as we know, this is a continuation of whatever started between the two of them last month, because Mercury and Mars had a conjunction literally a month ago in the sign of Sagittarius whilst Mercury was retrograde. So Mercury was reevaluating, they had a conjunction, then they both, obviously Mars moved into Capricorn, Mercury moved into Capricorn later, but now they're having a conjunction in Capricorn, so it's an opportunity for us to redefine that which we discovered throughout Mercury retrograde in December. So they start in a new cycle, ending that cycle that started under the influence of Mercury retrograde, and beginning a new cycle tomorrow on Saturday 27th. And tomorrow also at 1:11 Central Time, which is where I am, Moon will be moving into a sign of Virgo, where Moon will remain all the way until Tuesday actually. And this is yet another week, as I keep bringing our attention to this being taking place since Christmas weekend, and it will be taking place for another 2 weekends. We have Moon in the mutable sign at the end of a week, which we're ending, and at the beginning of a new week, and this is all about Virgo. So Virgo, as I've been saying, is the hero's journey archetype in my understanding, and it's about learning and adjusting. And of course, this full moon in Leo brought a lot of energy with itself. We are still processing and will be processing throughout next week, and whatever we're processing and learning and being illuminated to understand, this is what will be integrated and put into practice, because Virgo is a very practical sign. It's a learning, adjusting, and discerning and changing your reality based on what you learned, right? Because that is then going to create a new perception of reality, because there is Virgo, Sagittarius, there is a square between the two, because it's all the mutable cross. Things are continuously changing and evolving. So the more that we learn, more information we gather, more we learn to discern, the more our perception of reality is changing, and we have the opportunity to find a meaning in things, or that which lost a meaning, to let go of that. So yeah, so moon moving into the sign of Virgo tomorrow, and also tomorrow for me over here in a central time, Mercury will be squaring the node exact. This is something once again which was present during the full moon in Leo. The skip step was the Mercury-Mars conjunction. Well, the exact square between Mercury and the nodes is taking place for me here. It will be still Saturday night. For you guys across the Atlantic and further, it's already on Sunday, and also on Sunday Mars will be making a square to nodes exact. So this is like the exact aspect, but before that take place, Venus will be making her exact sextile to Saturn, and of course Saturn currently is the ruler of Venus because Venus is still in Capricorn as of 23rd of January. And then on Sunday also Mercury will be making an exact trine to Uranus, and Venus will be making an exact trine to Jupiter. Venus is the ruler of both Uranus and Jupiter because they both in Taurus. So all of this is connected to the South Node. South Node in Libra. What are we resolving? What are we letting go? Because this is under influence of Mars Mercury square to the South Node as a well, to both nodes, but South Node being the resolution node. And here we have Mercury making a trine to Uranus and Venus making a trine to Jupiter. So there are things that are being illuminated to us now as we speak, illuminated throughout this energy of this full moon in Leo, which are assisting us in resolving this South Node. So this is how we're going to end this week, this super crazy charged week. It was very different, the flavor of it, when we started it, because the beginning of this week was very quiet. There was not much happening in the sky for about 3 days, and then things started picking up with this full moon in Leo, which took place yesterday. And now everything is becoming exact. So it's like a fireworks, like, you know, the exact moments of illuminations. And as I mentioned, this is going to be the energy which will be guiding us into the next week, which is the in-between lunation week. Prepare, then, you know, the build-up will start again for the new moon in Aquarius. And on January 29th, Monday, Mars will make its exact trine to Uranus. Mars is the ruler of the North Node, currently still in Capricorn, in the sign of its exhaustion, and Uranus, its current ruler of Pluto, and actually Uranus is being ruled by Venus, who is also in Capricorn and just made a sextile to Saturn, her ruler. So yeah, so there is a lot of repeating theme, lot of layers of the story that are helping us to understand what is really going on here. So then on the same day, on January 29th, we have Mercury making a trine to Juno. Then on Tuesday, Moon will finally move into the sign of Libra. And then on Wednesday, the 31st, Mars will make a trine to Juno. Juno is retrograde in Virgo. On February 1st, so next week, we start in next month, February 1st. And I mean, I don't know, this month, January, it feels like it's just gone with a blink of an eye, but on the other side it felt like it lasted a year. Like so much had taken place throughout this 1 month that it's just like, it just gives you an idea what this year is going to be about. It's gonna go very quickly, and the changes that are going to be happening will be so profound that literally we'll be a different people at the end of it. That's really what I'm believing. So anyway, February the 1st, Thursday, which is the day of Jupiter, we have Moon moving into the sign of Scorpio. So this is again telling. What is this telling? Well, Moon is our inner world, and Moon moving into the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio, you know, it's a very deep sign, right? As we know, it's the sign of metamorphosis, sign of transformation. Now, Moon moving into the sign of Scorpio is telling us we are going to be transforming throughout February, and that's very telling because, of course, we are having the new moon in Aquarius, Pluto, right? That's where Pluto is for the next 20 years, with the exception of the 2.5 months, September to November. But also we are having the full moon in Virgo at the end of February on that 24/2/24 day, which is like, you know, very special special day. But also in February we'll have all the personal planets making a conjunction with Pluto, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and this is culminating the cycle which either, you know, started last year or started 2 years ago in case of Mars, and starting a new cycle in the sign of Aquarius. So this is all like a reset of an energy. So Moon going into the sign of Scorpio on the 1st of February is telling us that February will be a very transformative month. Plus, as we know, is the month that is, you know, in the sign of Aquarius, and then moves to the sign of Pisces. Aquarius, liberation, breaking free from the outdated pattern. Pisces, what are we leaving behind? What are we letting go? And then we start getting ready for the eclipses, because eclipses are starting at the end of March this year. So anyway, so February 1st, we start in a new month with moon in a sign of Scorpio. February 2nd, Mercury will make its exact sextile to Neptune. And this is a closing sextile. There is a conjunction between the two happening on March 8th, which is right before the new moon in Pisces. So that's again closing of a cycle, beginning of a new one, new moon in Pisces, ending of one cycle, beginning like Pisces. New moon in Pisces is paradoxical because it's a new moon, seeding of a new energy, but it's Pisces, which is the ending. So letting go of that which no longer resonates. And then Saturday and Sunday, there is really nothing much going on. Saturday is just moon making a lot of aspects as she always does. And then moon moves into sign of Sagittarius in the early hours of Sunday morning. So yet another week, ending with moon in a mutable sign and beginning with moon in a mutable sign. This time it's Sagittarius. And again, this is going to be for another 2 weeks. So Sagittarius, and then we'll have Pisces. And then the week after we will end and begin a new week with moon in a cardinal sign, in a sign of Cancer. So moon in a sign of Sagittarius, it's all about expansion. It's a prelude to the new moon in Aquarius. So it's again telling us, moon is telling us, it's all about where we head in, this new era, this new paradigm, this new human evolutionary chapter. And moon in a sign of Sagittarius is saying that, well, this is what is needed for the expansion, for this soul to have a new adventure, new experience. And on the same day, Mercury moves into a sign of Aquarius. And this is actually for some of you already happening on Monday, because for me here in Central, it's happening at 10 past 11 p.m. So yeah, on Sunday the 4th, for some of us, Mercury is moving into Aquarius. For the rest of you guys across the Atlantic, it will be already on Monday the 5th. And then the show will begin again, because on Monday the 5th, Venus will make a square to Chiron, and Chiron is ruled by Mars, the ruler of the North Node, and Venus is the ruler of the South Node. And Sun will make a sextile to Chiron, Mercury will make a conjunction to Pluto. So Monday the 5th, Mercury will be the first one of the personal planets, apart from Sun and the Moon, because they are the luminaries. Mercury will make a conjunction with Pluto on February 5th, which is a Monday, and still under the influence of Moon in Sagittarius, because Moon will not move into the sign of Capricorn until Tuesday the 6th. So this is it with regards to the transits. Like I said, there is nothing much happening next week, literally, apart from the Mars becoming exact trine to Uranus, which we already been feeling for the full moon in Leo, and Mercury sextile to Neptune, and Mercury also changing the signs. There is not much going on. There are aspects to asteroids, and of course Moon is making a lot of aspects, but apart from that, that's it. Okay, so what does all this mean for us? So we just experienced a full moon in Leo, which literally took place like less than 24 hours ago at the time when I'm recording this video. And this full moon in Leo was bringing us an illumination of something that got seeded last August, which of course was already at the time when we had the lunar nodes in Aries and Libra, because they shifted a month before in July. So as I already was talking about, between August last year, August 2023, and now, a lot of things had taken place in your personal life, I'm sure, but as we could have experience on a collective level, and even in our communities, like internal, external, a lot of things had taken place. And now we experience the illumination of this, and where is it really taking us is inside of you. Like, who are you? Who are you? What is your purpose? What did you come here to do? What are your gifts? What is this authentic light that you came here to shine into the world? Because that's what Leo is in its essence. It's your life force. It's your sun, which is, like I said, most people are aware of their sun sign. Even people who really don't care much about astrology or are not particularly interested, but majority of people are aware of their sun sign. They know where their sun sign is, because sun is your life force. Sun is your destiny. Sun is your purpose, what you came here to do. And that's why, again, as I already mentioned previously, your sun is only for this lifetime. You know, even when we have square to the nodes from the sun, if sun is the skip step, it's only for this lifetime. So this is like how the soul is technically shining the light, the torch onto this particular sign where your sun is, and saying, this is important, pay attention, this is through, this is the area, or this is, depending on the house, or this is how you're going to self-actualize, so that's why it's so important, for people to be aware of their sun sign, because this is very, well, I mean, there is a lot of other factors, you cannot take things out of the context and in isolation, because it depends on a house, it depends on like what aspects are being taken and stuff like that. And there is always a story, nothing is working in isolation, as we've been saying. But this full moon in Leo, and as we know, it's happening in conjunction with, Sun is in conjunction with Pluto, opposing the moon, and it was opposing the moon. Moon obviously now moved because it's no longer the early degrees of Leo. And moon is our essence. It's our inner world. It's our inner world. So your sun is what you bringing out there into the world. It's your purpose. You taking it outward. Sun is the yang energy. Is Leo is the yang energy. Your moon is your inner world. So how that which you projecting outwardly is reflecting who you are, and also reflecting back to you who you are becoming. So literally this is what this full moon in Leo is, and also being squared by Jupiter, it's saying, well, what is the story? Again, we're going back to the story. But you guys, last new moon in 2023 was Sagittarius new moon. It's all about the story. We're changing the story. The story is changing. It was trine by the North Node. So the story is definitely shifting. No coincidence that we start in a week where we have the Mercury-Mars conjunction, Mercury-Pluto conjunction, and a new moon in Aquarius 2024. We start in that week. We are going to be starting that week with moon in a sign of Sagittarius. I mean, breadcrumbs, guys, breadcrumbs. We just try to pay attention to what's really going on out there. And like I said, with these Jupiters play a very important role, because what is the story we were being told? And I already spoke about this many times. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but again, through my clients, and this is how it always works, I always have experiences with my clients in a real time, going on at the time when there is something happening in the sky, and there is always a theme. There is always a theme that is being experienced throughout people's lives right now in a real time, and it's the mirroring of what we are experiencing as above so below, as within so without. So there is certain energy in the skies that will being projected onto us, but it's also mirroring to us what's going on inside of us. So I am no longer surprised when I have readings with clients, which I never look into the ephemeris when I'm scheduling clients and going, oh, okay, you want to have a reading on this day because this is what's happening. No, it's like, nothing is accident, nothing is at random, but somehow it always works out that it makes perfect sense. And the clients that I attract and the themes, the topics we talk about, it's always a perfect mirror to what's going on astrologically. So for many people I've been coming into contact with, whether clients, friends, people in my conscious awareness, there is this story, there is this issue, this blockage, this square, this challenge that is going on through people's minds, which is this, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I like, because we externalize our power, because Jupiter is ruled by Venus. Venus is the ruler of the South Node. South Node will be in the sign of Libra until January 2025. So for another year. So most of us, we lost the sense of ourselves, because Leo, your essence, your inner child, who you were when you were born, the true gifts you brought with yourself, in many cases, for many of us, were suppressed. They had to be suppressed because we had to survive, because Taurus, we had to survive. And now this Jupiter is bringing up these topics, of this survival, which is why probably many of us are getting triggered and becoming very conscious about what was the story that we attached to when we were little, we adopted because of the need for survival. Because this is the work of Dr. Gabor Mate. He says every child has two needs, and it's a need for authenticity, to be happy, to be joyous, to be child, and then is the need for connection, because the need for connection is connected to the survival. Because as a child, you cannot take care of yourself. You need an adult, a caregiver, a Capricorn, to make you feel safe and secure and nurtured, right? So if that true light of you, that Leo, your true essence, the sun that is shining from inside of you, is not being welcome, or is not being considered as unique and special, and is being rejected, judged, criticized, then it becomes suppressed. And then we go throughout our entire life to try to be what other people want us to be, because this is how many of us, most of us, were being conditioned, which is, again, this is how our parents were conditioned, this is how our grandparents, and it just goes on and on and on and on until we don't even remember that it was any different at some point in the past, very long time ago. So with this full moon in Leo, what has for many of us very likely been brought to our consciousness is more chapters of that story of the past that was being projected onto us by the other, this Libra, this South Node in Libra, and Venus now is in Capricorn, making a sextile to Saturn this weekend. So this Venus, again, is bringing it into material form, because Venus gone through the sign of Sagittarius. She was ruled by Jupiter. They had a mutual reception going on while Venus was in the sign of Sagittarius until recently. And they were passing on the information, because Jupiter now is direct. It was retrograde for 5 months almost. And Jupiter was like, okay, this is what I learned. I'm letting you know, this is the limiting story. And now Venus is, she is giving a form to it, because Saturn is in Pisces. So what Saturn is doing as the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn is dissolving everything that lost meaning. But in order for us to understand what it is, it needs to take on form. It needs to become conscious of to us, because all these things, that are very likely in many cases creating our reality that we don't necessarily always enjoy, they are from the subconscious program, which is part of this initial story that we were being told, growing up, and we didn't know like, oh, you lying to me, and this, doesn't feel right to me, and I trust myself and my inner guidance. This is not how we were being, most of us, I'm not saying everyone, but majority of us, this is not how we were being brought up. We weren't being brought up to look inside, trust yourself, and tell your parents, no, I don't agree with you, because my intuition, my inner guidance, my soul is telling me this. I mean, of course not. I mean, I don't know, good for you if you had this experience, but I guess majority of us didn't, because there also was this other story of like, oh, that's devil, that's evil, that's bad, because of this infiltration of religion of any kind. It doesn't matter what kind of is, but the organized religion is very polarizing, because it again makes somebody to be bad. It makes you to be bad or to feel bad if you are adopting certain characteristics which, based on that certain belief system, is being considered as bad. And this is where the whole problem, this is where the whole challenge, the soul seeded this path of challenges, because we don't want to have an easy life, because that's boring for the soul. It's like, well, how will I grow? How will I know to trust myself? How will I know how powerful I really am in a physical body? It's literally, it is the hero's journey. Our life is the hero's journey, fool's journey, however you want to call it. It doesn't matter what is the label, but that's what it is. And like I said, like I was talking before, the soul doesn't look at situation and say like, oh yeah, this is gonna be painful, this is gonna be really hard, because there is no polarity, there is, in this higher dimension, there is no good and bad, so the soul doesn't look at it and say like, oh my god, this is going to be really hard for me, to have this experience. The soul is just thinking, oh, how can I grow? How can I grow the best, the fastest, and how can I really, when I overcome this obstacle, I will really know that, oh my God, I can really believe myself. I can really trust myself. I can really feel this love for myself and know that, oh my God, like I really, I am really worthy, because also when, like I always say, when people play computer games, they don't want it to be easy. The harder it is, the harder level, then if you do get at the end of it, when you overcome it, when you pass that level, you feel accomplished, because everybody like the first, like even people like, oh yeah, it's a beginners, something that is a beginner, straight away we have this meh that's too easy. We have this kind of like, well, I don't feel like I achieve very much if it's easy, right? Because it's like it comes easily. It's the same like if people win lottery, they're never gonna appreciate the money the same way as if they had to earn it. They're just gonna spend it like, easy comes, easy goes, which, that's another topic about money and flow of energy and all that. But this is how the soul thinks, like, okay, let's make it challenging. Obviously there are ups and downs in life. Nothing is ever flat line. Nothing is ever just bad. There are all these ups and downs going on, and then we are like, yeah, and then it's always the spiral, like the next level, the next level, the next level. So technically where we at now with this year 8 with this strong Saturnian Capricornian energy of 4 lunations in Capricorn and 8 associated with the strength card, which is Leo. So there is no coincidence, guys. The first moon and the last moon is the new moon in Capricorn, and the first full moon is the full moon in Leo. I mean, why that would be, of course, there is no coincidence. There is no coincidence because nothing is happening at random. And this full moon in Leo, right after the new moon in Capricorn, it's showing us because, obviously Mars, Mercury, Venus, Venus rule of the south node, Mars rule of the north node, Mars and Mercury squaring the nodes, pointing to the south node, ruled by Venus, Venus making a sextile to Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of the 3 of them. Saturn is ruled by Pisces. By Neptune in Pisces, all about endings and all the rest of it, all the gist of it. I mean, like I said, we can just keep hopping from planet to planet. I already talked about all the, all of this during my videos. I already made 3 of them about full moon in Leo. But what is this really telling us, with all this that's been going on in real life, in a real time, is that, yes, this year is going to be a very different year. It's going to be a very different year when the energy is shifting, because this story that we've been experiencing as a human collective, it became boring. This story of us feeling not good enough, shamed, guilty, people pleasing, doing what we've been told to do, then, getting sick, and, many of us potentially passing, thinking that, oh, well, regret, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, I wish I would have done that, feeling not self-actualized. That story, the source is done with it. The source, it's saying like, oh yeah, I had thousands of years of this experience, let's take it up a notch. Let's, let's turn things upside down a little bit, let's make things different, right? So what is the different? Well, the different is this completely different paradigm, a paradigm where actually, no, it's all starting from you. You seeing yourself as worthy, you seeing yourself as, I am a gift to this world. Not from the narcissistic point of view, because we are all gifts to the world, we are all unique and special, but we are all ordinary at the same time, because we are all part of the human collective. So nobody's better than somebody else. Nobody's more special or more unique than somebody else, but everybody is unique and special in their own way, because we came here to co-create a different reality, different experience for all of us, through which we will grow and evolve in a different way, in a new way, in a progressive way, updated way. Updated, yes, because outdated, updated. Yes. So Aquarius is the archetype that breaks the pattern. Imagine you have a mirror in front of you and you throw something in a mirror and it chips into million pieces, And they all part of the same mirror. They still belong to that mirror, but now they're no longer the unity of, that glass that created that one mirror. This is Aquarius. It's going to decentralize everything, And what's the point of that? To see each piece of the glass for its uniqueness. Yes, they all mirror, they all serve the same purpose. Like you can look at it and like see yourself, or you can, cut yourself if you, if you're not careful and stuff. But so you can use it for the similar purpose, same, whatever. But it's unique in its own shape. It's unique. Each piece of this glass will be unique. There will not be 2 exactly the same pieces of the glass if you break that big mirror, right? So this is what's going on right now. So the source decided, as I mentioned, that, okay, the story of the past, of this looking outside of you, the story is ending. Saturn is in Pisces, Neptune is in Pisces. We know the story is ending. All these planets closing phase conjunctions, as we know, Chiron to North Node, Jupiter to Uranus. Now all the personal planet at the time of me recording this, Venus, Mercury, Mars, all coming into the closing phase to Pluto. They're all going to have a conjunction with Pluto in March. First one will be Mercury on February 5th, then will be Mars on February 14th, which is the Valentine's Day, and then it will be Venus on February 17th, and then we have Mars-Venus conjunction, first one after 2 years. But actually the previous one was already in a sign of Aquarius, interestingly enough. So the next Venus-Mars conjunction will be February 22nd. Even though they were very close last year, they were very close, but they never made a conjunction. The conjunction will be in Aquarius, actually 22nd, I think it's already Pisces season, right? Either way, it's going to be still in Aquarius sign. And it's going to be all next month. So what is this telling us? Yes, the story of the past is culminating. Why do we have 4 moons in Capricorn? Because we are creating a new paradigm. We are creating a new story. We don't know how the hell we're going to do it, and what does it even mean? What does it look like? Because Saturn is in Pisces. We just know what we don't want it to look like, which is why, as I keep saying again, we are re-experiencing the same outdated patterns, collectively, individually, which is why all the stories of the past are becoming conscious. Venus is making them conscious. Venus is the ruler of the South Node in Libra, which is the resolution node to the square that was going on between Pluto and the nodes for an entire year. Now it's ended because Pluto is now too far. It's in the sign of Aquarius, but now it's been reignited by Mercury, Mars, and then also Venus is going to reignite it again in February. So all of this is taking place. Why is it taking place? Because we are done with the Pisces age. This age of sacrifice and being a martyr and blaming everybody else and feeling insignificant and invisible, like you are a ghost and you don't matter and you have no value. This is boring now. It's outdated, it's boring, it doesn't work, it lost meaning, and it doesn't make nobody happy. Look at the state of the world. Like, how many people are on antidepressants? How many people are happy? How many people are joyous? We already had this conversation. So with this full moon in Leo, these new energies illuminated. Well, I mean, the sense of it, your heart is being lightened up. Your heart is coming online. It's being lightened up. It's being filled with the fire of desire. There is this desire. There is this hunger for being alive. For being alive and truly enjoy life through being who you are, who you came here to be, the gifts that you brought with yourself, the gifts of your soul that is you connect with through your heart. Heart is the Leo. So that's why with this Leo full moon, it's such an important full moon, which is why we keep going on about it for 2 weeks, because that's why next week there is nothing going on. Why? Because it really needs to hit home. It really needs to. We have 4 lunations in Capricorn, so the Capricorn is gonna hit home, because we're gonna keep talking about it throughout the year, because it's a year 8. 8 is the Saturn plus Jupiter. So let's not forget the Jupiter. Jupiter is very important because it's going to expand everything it touches, and it's gonna be in Gemini as well since end of May. And then it's up to you. What do you want it to expand? Now you have the opportunity to decide, because Jupiter is still in a sign of Taurus. It's helping you to see what is the outdated belief system, what is the old story that we keep recreating and re-experiencing in our life. And that's why with this full moon in Leo comes this passion and this desire where your heart is set on fire and you say, this is what I want. This is what I want, or you are experiencing that which you don't want, which is giving you the desire for the opposite. Like, yes, this is my experience, but I want this. I want something different. What is it? And this is what I've been also mentioning. In order to really thrive, like, go ahead with this age of Aquarius and not allow this unpredictable, unstable energy to flatten you down. In order for do that, you really need to know yourself. You really need to reconnect with yourself. You have to trust yourself, and you really need to want to be here. You really need to have the strong desire to be here, to survive, to stand in your power, and not to be afraid. Not to be afraid, because the fear, the self-judgment, the self-hate, the self-criticism, that is a guaranteed stop sign. It's not going to take you into the age of Aquarius. It's going to keep you in Capricorn. It's going to say somebody else is more precious, it's more lovable, it's more perfect. What the hell does that even mean, to be perfect? There is no such a thing as perfect. Like two people looking at the same thing, they will experience it differently. I already spoken about this, which is this multidimensionality of who we are. You are having your own unique experience in this world, which you are creating yourself. That prana, that essence that is within you, that is creating your reality, consciously or subconsciously, which is why we are now becoming conscious. We are becoming conscious of all these outdated patterns, and we have the opportunity, the universe is presenting us with the opportunity to choose the opposite if that's what you want. But in order to create it, you need to believe you can. You need to step into your power of creativity, into your true Leo essence, and tap within and go, yes, I can do it. I can do it. I'm special. I brought gifts with myself. This is what I'm good at. Okay, there is something I can improve on. Never mind. Nobody is perfect, and nobody came here to exactly the same thing. That's why even if you go to two astrologers, they're gonna do a different job. They're gonna tell you something different. They're gonna interpret the chart differently. You're gonna have a different experience based on who that person is, because they're giving you their energy, and the energy is unique to them. So that's why even when you go to hairdresser, or when you go to have your nails done, or when you go to massage therapist, every single person that you come to will impact you differently. You might say, oh yeah, this person made me feel good or didn't make me feel good, but there is myriad of different emotions that are within that good or not good or whatever, that's just the simplicity of understanding that, oh yeah, I felt positive or negative. But there are other things that were happening at the same time, right? And this is what we are starting to understand and tap into, that there are all these things available to us happening simultaneously, but it's up to you to decide whether you want to tap into them. And that up to you to decide is influenced by the belief. What is the subconscious program? What is the blockage? Which is why Mercury and Mars are square in the notes. Mercury and Mars are having another conjunction in Capricorn, because last time it was under the influence of Mercury retrograde, starting from Capricorn, going back to Sagittarius, and then going back to Capricorn. So there are a lot of things that we've been redefining. We know that there was these three aspects between Mercury and Jupiter. 3 trines from Capricorn, and Jupiter was also retrograde. This holds meaning. This holds meaning. This is an important factor to pay attention to, especially because Jupiter is squaring this moon. Jupiter Sun exact square is happening tomorrow. It hasn't even happened at the time of me recording this. It's happening tomorrow, and this is very important. It's actually these planets. It's not just this, oh yeah, Jupiter is squaring Sun, so there might be this tension with regards to I don't know what. I don't even know what the traditional astrology will tell you about that anymore, but they will tell you that, oh well, Jupiter is the greatest benefactor, so don't worry, it's gonna be all good. But what is the meaning of that? What is behind all of that? There is not just about this everyday random experience that, oh yeah, it's gonna influence you this way, but that's valid. It's still part of your life. Yeah, in your actual life, something might pop up. Somebody might say something, it might make you angry, and then you might realize something. That, oh, why did I get angry? Why did I get triggered? Why do I keep attracting people who talk to me this way, or whatever it is? But there is always a deeper meaning. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Because the story of the past, the subconscious mind that is making us to respond this way, because there is stuff that is unhealed from the past, a program, a belief system, a blockage, it needs to become conscious, because we need to heal it, integrate it, and decide, is this working or not? And if not, then we need to transmute it, transcend it, and let it go, because we are entering unprecedented times. We are stepping into completely uncharted territory with Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto just gonna give us a very brief break during the eclipses, which is like it's not gonna be much of a chill out, with the eclipses in September, October. And then Scorpio season in November, no kidding, like Pluto is gonna move into Aquarius for the last time while Sun is still in Scorpio. I mean, hello, it's crazy, because obviously Sun will be ruled by Pluto, and Sun is the ruler of the Leo full moon, right, that we just had yesterday. So there is so much stuff that is going on behind the scene. And yes, in our everyday reality, it might be showing up that things are happening quickly. We don't even know what to do first, what to pay attention first. The time is disappearing in front of our eyes, which is again why it's so important to discern, with this Virgo, moon entering Virgo again this weekend, is this need for discernment, to discern what actually matters, what is important. And also the other aspect, which again was becoming very present, and this is something I want to talk about in my practical application of astrology, was this: let's not take time and the moments of joy for granted no more, because these things are precious. Time is precious. Time is the only commodity you cannot buy more of. Time is time, like, yes, we all have exit points throughout life. Sometimes we decide to take them, sometimes we don't. We can believe that, oh yeah, if I have this surgery, that surgery, I buy more time. No, the soul decides. It doesn't matter what kind of treatments and surgeries you have, the soul will decide when is the time. Like, obviously in some cases we are being pulled or directed or attracted to certain modality or a tool that will then assist us in prolonging the time or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, soul decides, not human ego decides, soul decides. So time is precious. And especially being in a physical body at the moment where we are right now in, time and age and the technology we have available to us, like, like what, we're gonna live 100 years, maybe less, maybe more, not, I don't think, not much more, in many cases less, because of the environmental conditioning, poisoning. But time goes very quickly. Like, I hear it from my parents all the time, how they say, I can't believe, my mom looks in the mirror, and bless her, she's gonna be 60 now in May. And she says, I can't believe, this is the age. I can't believe, like me, her daughter, almost 40 years old, she cannot believe that. She says it was like yesterday. Like, she can still remember when she was a girl, when she went to school or to college or whatever. And then when she got married, I'm sure she remembers all that like it was yesterday or 2 weeks ago, So that's what I mean. Time is not linear, but for us humans being in a physical body, it is linear, and it's limited. It's precious. We all know that there is a time. The time will come where we're going to exit this physical plane. Right now, in this stage of our evolution, we are not here to stay in this body forever. Like in this body that I have right now, I am not going to stay in this body forever. There will be a transition at some point. God knows when, but it's coming. That's a guarantee. And then the other aspect is the joy, because Leo is also connected to your joy, to this childlike innocence, to this desire for playfulness, for happiness, which is why in the traditional astrology, the Leo house is the 5th house, which is the house of hobbies and pleasure and sex and dating and romance and movies and restaurant and whatever, whatever you do for fun, whatever you do for joy, like that's why, the traditional astrology will tell you that 5th house is the boyfriend and 7th house is the husband, right? This is, I believe, if I remember correctly, how they define it. Which, I mean, even that, and I don't want to go into that in this video because that's a completely different rabbit hole, but even that is going to change. The relational paradigm, how we connect on a romantic level and what that's going to look like in the future, that's changing too. Because that way that we've been connecting until this point is based on the old system, on the old program, on the old story, which is again limited and imprisons people. And it's mostly based on the lower chakras and also on the keeping up with Jonases. Oh, if I'm not married by this age, I must have failed. It must be saying something bad about me, that, maybe I'm this or whatever I am. We always turn it back on ourselves because this is how we were being conditioned. Something must be wrong with you, because if you don't fulfill other people's expectations and criteria, something must be wrong with you. And this is what we're changing. That's why there is the opposition. It's like a bridge. It's like something that requires balance. This needs to change. Yes, it's not just about you. You didn't come here just to have your experience. It's both. You came here to be unique and true to yourself and have your experience, but through that, you are contributing to the collective and being of a service to collective. Because when you have that light shining, when you are happy and you live the life of purpose and joy, you are making other people happy to be around you and shining this light like a lighthouse and say, oh, what is that person doing? I want some of that, like I whatever you're doing, I want some of that, like what makes you so happy? Like, how are you doing that? People never will say, oh, like, oh, how can I be more miserable? Give me some tips. How can I be more miserable? But people will say, oh, you look great. You look happy. What have you changed? What have you done? Give me some of that. This is how it is, right? It's the Leo, it's the happiness, it's the joy. So the other things that's been becoming very prominent, in my consciousness from my environment and the communication I was having with people, is that, how little joy we have. And when we do have it, we take it for granted. There is this build up, like, oh, there is my birthday coming up or something. And then it hits us and then it's like, oh yeah, whatever. And then it's like next thing. So we never really present. We never really present for the now, for the right now, to just, and I'm up as guilty as everybody else, always thinking like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Oh my God, there is all these things on my schedule to be done. So, like rather than just being present in a moment and enjoy sitting on that beach, looking at that sunset, I'm worrying about, oh my God, what else, everything I need to do tomorrow, So it's this other thing. So I feel that it's going to be more and more important, because already, as I've been, talking about since my last videos of last year, the more world will become crazy, unsettled, unstable, and changing at this very fast speed, which we cannot even adjust to, like, fast enough. The more it will be important to find this safety, security, peace within, and also to enjoy these moments of joy. When, yes, all these things that we, relied on and depended on, when, some of them might not be there going forward, they might, I mean, I don't know how this is going to manifest, don't get me wrong, like, I really don't know. But, there might be things that are just, potentially not gonna be there anymore, we don't know, but Saturn is in Pisces, anything might take place. Pluto is in Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, expect the unexpected. Uranus is in Taurus, resources, anything might take place, right? So that gives much more need, for this being present, enjoying what's right now, because also with this Venus in Capricorn, and obviously making clearly making sextile to Saturn in Pisces, what holds a meaning, that which holds a meaning, let's enjoy it, let's be present with it, let's give form to it, and and use it to create the next thing, because it's contagious just as much as sneezing is contagious, and hiccups, and being in a fall mood, when you go and come across people who are angry or depressed or pessimistic, if you spend prolonged period of time with their company, then it will rub off. It's the same thing with the opposite, the happiness, the laugh, the giggle. If you go into the room and start laughing and continue to laugh, eventually people will start laughing with you, even though they don't know what you're laughing at, but they will start laughing because it's contagious, right? All these emotions are contagious. So this is what I mean. When you have this moment of joy and you're present with it, then let's use it to create more of that from it, right? So this is what I mean. Again, I'm hoping from thing to thing here, and I'm kind of like but I mean, it's all connected to this Leo full moon. I don't know what to tell you. All these aspects that are taking place is exactly about that. Even this Mercury trine to Uranus, Mars trine to Uranus, Venus trine to Jupiter. How we breaking ourselves free, where we taking the responsibility for our creation. What do we want to create? It's no longer be left to an accident, because this is the times that we stepping into. This is why Saturn is in Sagittarius, Pisces. This is literally why Saturn is in Pisces, because the source, the God, the divine intelligence, whatever you want to call it doesn't matter on a label. Everybody believes in something, even if they say, I believe in nothing, I just believe in myself. Well, everybody believes in something, even if you believe in weather forecast or news or science, everybody believes in something. Everybody's got Jupiter somewhere, everybody believes in something, whatever it is, So this is why Saturn is in Pisces, because Saturn is saying that the old way of existing in this reality, Saturn is the structure of our world, is the matrix, is this 3D, is the 3D that we are experiencing in a human form. While we are in this planet, on this planet, in this school of life, Saturn is in Pisces. Why is it in Pisces? Because the source is saying this old way of existing on this planet, this, as I described, this Pisces Virgo, this self-criticism, self-judgment, self-hate, not good enough, not perfect, la 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 la, sacrifice, my value comes from what I do for you, all these kind of things. And Pisces in the low vibration, the victimhood mentality, martyrdom, escapism, blah 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 blah, all of that. We're looking at the lower vibration because all the signs have a very positive high frequency, right? This time is ending, okay? This time is ending because there is no space for it in the time of Aquarius, because time of Aquarius is parallel lines. It's not each for themselves, but it's each responsibility for themselves. There is nobody's gonna be that like, oh, I blame this guy. It's his fault, this president or whoever. No. There is gonna be no more of that. There's gonna be more of like, okay, well, there is no, you cannot change someone else. The only person you can change is yourself. And so for the other person, that's why it's not your responsibility to change someone else, which is again, like when people don't respond the way we want them to, we get upset. But you cannot have expectations like to expect other people to behave, act, react, or do something for you that, maybe is not in alignment with themselves. This is why we need to take responsibility for ourselves, and it's going to be more transparent eventually. It's going to be more transparent and people know what they're dealing with. This is also what I believe the future politics and future systems will look like. They will have to be transparent because people will need to, because everybody will have responsibility for themselves, and then the system has to have a responsibility, for what they are serving, right? Like there has to be a transparency. So there has to be much more conscious way of interacting with one another, conscious relationship, conscious approach to life. And that can only happen when we heal the subconscious program, which is being projected onto the outward world and then mirrored back to us, which is what we are experiencing right now. And it's not what we want anymore, because it makes us feel restricted, it doesn't make us feel free, and it doesn't give us an opportunity to be authentic and individuated and live life, from our soul's mission, to feel like, yes, this is what I came here to do, and this is what makes me happy, because I feel fulfilled. You even have like people who are, and again, it doesn't mean that everybody's gonna be a healer and everybody's gonna be this and everybody's gonna be that. It doesn't matter, because everybody likes different things, like everybody's unique, and usually when people do that thing that makes them, really happy, that is in alignment with their soul, they feel energized, they want to do more of that. Sometimes they do it through a job that, is not that, but it allows them to do that. Like, for example, I don't know, people who drive children to school, these buses, right? In some countries, we have these buses. So that person, do they like driving? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But maybe their purpose, their sense of satisfaction, sense of purpose, is I'm keeping kids safe. I'm bringing this new generation into the world, and I'm protecting them, I'm keeping them safe, so there is like a purpose which is not being done, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be a bodyguard, but it's like through a job that, you look at and you think, oh, he's just a bus driver, but then it's actually something different, right? So this is what I mean. Again, I'm just going into different rabbit holes here. I keep seeing myself just going in like multidimensional, just going into different rabbit holes. But this is what this Leo full moon is telling us, what is this purpose? What is this calling of your soul that is currently potentially not being heard or self-actualized? And what do we need to do to make it so? And it's up to you. It's up to you. It's not like, oh, I'm hoping or I'm wishing and let's see how the world is gonna go if I can do that. It's no longer that. We're not gonna be waiting, hoping, wishing, and giving our power to someone else and then deciding. No, it's the other way. Like, we enter in the age of Pluto in Aquarius. Age of Aquarius is already here. Pluto in Aquarius is about that. That's why Saturn is in Capricorn, is saying no. You cannot no longer look at someone else and expect that person to cater to your needs and to help you to actualize your purpose. You need to figure it out for yourself and find out what it is. And then naturally you'll be attracted to people who are in alignment with that. And then together you can create it. It's not going to be from outside in, it's going to be from inside out. And this is the shift. This is the point of illumination. This is what all these planets are telling us. And even next week with the Mercury making a sextile to Neptune on Friday, and then subsequently Mercury moving into sign of Aquarius, and day after making a conjunction to Pluto, which will be on Monday the 5th. This is what is taking us forward. We are closing the old cycle. We are getting a full understanding. We are gathering information, seeing, identifying, communicating, getting news, and starting to see what is actually going on, what is actually the program, what is actually the belief system, and how can we change it. And we're not going to change it the same way that it was being created. Isn't that like, I don't know who said it, but it was Einstein, right? You cannot expect, it's a definition of insanity if you keep doing the same thing and expect different result. You cannot resolve the problem from the same, something like that. You cannot resolve the problem from the same place the problem was created. I mean, I don't, this is all butchering quotes, like I don't remember exactly, but literally that's what it is. That's what it is. This energy, that's what it is. It's saying you cannot create the reality you want to create if the reality doesn't exist yet, here in the tangible, because of course, if you want something, that it means it already exists somewhere, because if you can visualize it, it already is somewhere, it's just on different timeline, and we need to raise our frequency to connect to the timeline. But that's literally what it is. If you don't see it manifested in your reality, that means we need to use a different approach. And the approach of us externalizing our power and feeling bad about ourselves and putting ourselves down and not understanding that there is this divine essence within you that is here to create, to birth, to shine this light into the universe and say, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is my Leo, this is what I came here to do, this is my unique purpose that makes me feel happy and fulfilled, whatever that is. Even if you drive a bus, it doesn't matter. If it makes you happy and it gives you a sense of purpose and satisfaction, that's it. It doesn't make it any better or worse than somebody being a doctor. It doesn't matter. These are all just labels and values that we attach to these labels. Is the same like with money. Who decides how much a pound is worth, or euro, or dollar? It's a collectively decided agreement. But that, if you hold a piece of paper which says $100 on it, that paper is worth nothing. It's the agreed value. So you need to decide for yourself, what is your value? You cannot no longer look up to someone else and say, hey, what do you think is my value? What do you think is my purpose? And how should I create it? How should I go around it? Well, they're going to tell you what they believe, but is it going to be the right thing for you? Well, very unlikely, because they're not living your life. They don't know what it feels like. They're not having your experience. They can support you, create a safe space for you, but you need to do it yourself. And this is where we are heading. North Node is in Aries, Mars is in Capricorn, the Emperor. We need to take the responsibility to create the life we want. And it's not going to be created by using the same approach, which is this Jupiter square to the full moon in Leo that just took place. And now we are going to be feeling the after effects of that for another week before we start building up with all this, Aquarius energy to the new moon in Aquarius. New moon in Aquarius, Aquarius. This is exactly where we're heading. This is the energy. And it's no longer about somebody holding our hands and say, oh, let me, No, these people will be there for you, but this will be from the self-empowered state. It's no longer like, oh, I need to go and save you. No, you need to save yourself. And we save one another by saving ourselves, and then co-creating a better world for ourselves all, where nobody is better than somebody else. Because if you go and save someone, and again, yes, there are, of course, you won't let person drown or something, but this is energetical. If you do too much for someone else, eventually that person is gonna betray you or leave you or treat you not very well, which is how this is how the soul contracts work, is forcing you to take the power back, because you taking their power, because trying to do too much for someone else. This is why people who do so much are usually the most inappreciated people, because if there is no healthy boundary, and if you seeking your validation from that other person by doing so much for them, they're never gonna give it to you, because this is the soul contract. This is the learning. This is what we came here to learn. It's just like, I validate myself. I need to find my own value, and I also create a boundary. So just this is how much I can give. because saving someone else is the other person's responsibility. It's not your responsibility. You are here to save yourself. This is not in a narcissistic way, that I don't have the words to explain this so it doesn't sound selfish and egocentric or narcissistic. You came here to have your life experience through which you are impacting other people. The more you are in alignment and peace with yourself and your soul, the more you are of a service to others. This is how it works. It's not the other way around, the way we were being told to believe through all this old story and conditioning and program and Pisces age, which made you feel that your worth only comes from what you do for others. Then why so many people are undervalued and feeling unworthy and undeserving and unhappy? Because it doesn't work that way. It goes from inside out, and this is what this Leo full moon was about. And this is the after effects, which we will be digesting and integrating throughout the entire next week. What was being illuminated for you? What was being brought up to the surface of your consciousness that is now helping you to question things? Because Mercury squaring nodes, Mars, the ruler of the North Node, squaring nodes, pointing to the South Node. It is no longer going to come from someone else, because Saturn is in Pisces. The old paradigm, the old way of being, the old way of existing, the old way of relating is ending. It's ending because it's outdated. The source is saying, I'm done with that. I want new experience where humans are becoming different creatures, where they're empowered, they're following their purpose and destiny, they're living in joy, there is integrity, there is a respect, there will be no more wars, God knows when, but it's coming at some point. And this is going to be a completely new reality, because the source has grown enough from experience all the past. And we can see how the past is coming around and again and again and again, and it's the same thing. Wars, division, hate, somebody is better, somebody is worse, hierarchical system, win, lose, I have everything, you have nothing, and it's okay, no. All this is ending. All this is ending because with the Pisces, we need to come back to wholeness. How are we going to come to wholeness? Well, first we need to start from ourselves. We need to feel whole. How are we going to feel whole? We need to heal. We need to integrate the aspects of ourselves we had to reject because they were not acceptable. By who? By which story? So again, guys, we're going in circles about the same thing. I'm already past 1 hour, so I need to close this. But this is the weekend with Moon in Virgo. It's about learning and adjusting. Pay attention, especially this Saturday, Sunday, when all these aspects are becoming exact. All the aspects that were being activated throughout last week, leading towards the full moon in Leo. All these aspects are becoming exact throughout this weekend. With Mars, being on Monday. Mars trying to Uranus being on Monday. So pay attention. Because this, which is becoming illuminated to you, is giving you an opportunity to change things, to start identifying things differently, to start turning the dial and shifting the direction of the story of your life. Because this is what was seeded during the new moon in Sagittarius on December 13th, during the last new moon of 2023. And this is literally where we're heading. And the next thing will be the new moon in Aquarius. So now we have a little bit of a breather next week where we have an opportunity to integrate this massive energy that just literally blasted us with all this fire, all this passion and desire, or the sense, I don't have this, so I'm angry, whatever it is for you. And all of this has the opportunity to be now put into practice. Like, okay, what am I going to do about this? What tools do I need? What changes need to be integrated? Capricorn, boundaries. Where am I going to create boundaries so I can actually expand? It's not to restrict, it's to expand, right? And anyway, guys, thank you for listening. If you're still here with me, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting my channel. I hope this has been helpful. If things are happening in your life, it's happening right on time, trust me, and every time something gets triggered, every time you see something happening, be grateful, because it's like, okay, now I'm conscious of it. Now I'm aware of it. I can change it. You cannot change something you are unaware of. So every time we become aware of something, even if it pisses you off or if it's like painful thing, okay, how can I change this? What can I do to adjust my experience, so I am not having this experience again? And you can do it because, still stuff is in Capricorn, Mars is in Capricorn, trying to Uranus on Monday. It's great, Mars, Mercury in Capricorn conjunction tomorrow. So all these things are happening, which are moving us more closer to this Capricornian theme. You are your own creator, the path of self-mastery. We need to take responsibility, put the big hat on, right? Because nobody else is going to do it for you. If you want to live your purpose and shine your authentic life and feel happy, nobody's going to do it for you. And if they do, it's fleeting, and then it makes you feel like, oh, what if they take it away? I don't feel in power, I don't feel in control. So anyway, guys, like I said, I could go on for hours about this topic because this is a story of my life. This is a story of my life in progress. So, and I know story of many people's life, story of everybody's life, because this is what we're experiencing collectively. Now we're just becoming conscious of it. And we know that more or less we are all on the same boat in different stages of our journey, but there is no better or worse. Everything is happening exactly when and as it should. So I leave it at that. I will be posting my personal story share tomorrow, and I'll see if I can produce some channeling as well. It seems like that was met with some interest. And I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Like I said, pay attention, if you need to, write things down. And just use this fire to create what you do want, no longer what you don't want. So be mindful how you use this life force that is present in you every single day to create. What are you creating? That which you want or which you don't want? Because the choice is yours. Okay. Much love, everyone. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.